I'm Tia Borden with MiningIR, and beside me is Lance Mishleau, CEO of Holder Resouces. Lance, thank you so much for joining me
It's a
today.
pleasure. Thank you.
We have lots to chat about, but first, can you give our audience a description of what the company is all about?
Yeah, so Holder Resources is actually a fairly new company, but we're actually fourth generational gold miners. And it was our great grandfather who started mining in Washington, Idaho border in like 1930. But it was our grandfather who took mining all around the country and around the world. And in 1993, sent operations to Guyana in South America, where we solely operate today. And so we've historically been doing gold mining, but now taking advantage of the world stage of everything that's happening and actually pivoting towards strategically pivoting towards logging.
I was just going to say, what separates you from other mining companies? But that's a big one. That's a very different industry,
It
but
is a
it still
very
ties into mining.
it is a very different industry, except for the fact that for decades we've been cutting trees in order to be able to get to the gold. So we've been
That's
cutting trees
true.
for a long time. But it's interesting where we operate in Guyana. Guyana is actually very sustainable. Like sustainability is at the forefront of what Guyana operations are. And so we actually weren't able to get the license and permits to be able to sell the trees that we would actually have to cut down to get to the gold. But that's all kind of shifted now because of the European Union's agreement last December to be able to actually source their timber from Guyana instead of from their eastern neighbors due to the Ukraine war. So we've been cutting trees for a long time, not able to sell them, but now because of that agreement, we actually have a market for those trees. And because with the Guyana's sustainability practices, they weren't actually letting us be able to sell the trees because they didn't want, in the name of mining, to go and clear cut a bunch of the land because they wanted to be able to protect their jungles and their forests.
Right.
But now they let us do a certain amount of trees per mine site that we have, and now pivoting towards logging concessions that we are currently obtaining.
And so, how does how does it tie in long term? This is a very unique, I don't think a lot of companies are doing it, and it totally makes sense. But what does that look like long term for you and for the business?
Yeah. So for long term for the business, actually that agreement with the European Union to source timber from Guyana is actually right now through 2040. So it doesn't really matter what happens in the next couple of years. This isn't something that's going away. So for the next 17 years, we've got a business that we can build on that sustainable logging operation. And again, we're going to be loggers, but who also do gold mining. So we've got a lot of different connections where there's a lot of other minerals, rare earth, and even platinum group metals that are in Guyana for other exploration later on.
And what are some of the risks or challenges that you're facing currently? I know there's always some red tape that you have to deal with, but
Yeah,
what does that look like for you, and what are you guys doing to mitigate those
yeah.
risks?
Well, the interesting thing about Guyana as well too, there's only 800,000 people in Guyana, so they're very relational based. So for us, it's all about having those relationships. There's a lot of people that want to come into Guyana, but they don't know where to start because they don't know who to talk to or how in order to go through the different commissions or departments within the country of Guyana. We've been operating there for 30 years, so we know how to do business in Guyana. It's ingrained into our blood, and now we get to take that into a company and go bigger with it. And so really what we're looking for is the capital to be able to come in and to be able to take us to that next level of where we're going. That's really one of the different risks is really looking for the cash that we need now in order to really produce on the logging side of things where we need to accomplish that. But we've got all those relationships. For most people, that risk would be the relationship. How do we get in there and how do we work with the locals? But we've got that all figured out. It's what we've been doing for a long time. Now we just need the capital in order to move forward.
With that said, what are you doing to create financial health within the company? And
Yeah.
what are you doing to fund future projects?
Right. So what we're looking right now is we've actually we just did a friends and family round. We're actually looking to close our first $5 million through more strategic financing through debt and equity. But we've also brought on our investment bank that is helping us strategically, actually on the point from now for the next 2 to 3 years, being on a pathway to go public. But they're also helping us find strategic partners, financing partners, who maybe have different experience in the different industries that we are pursuing now or in the future, to be able to partner with them to become more financially stable as well too, and find the right partners to grow with.
And what are you doing to maintain communication with your investors? How do
Yeah.
you stay transparent with them?
Yeah. So I like to be able to communicate. Most of the investors that we currently have, they know how to get a hold of me directly. And then we have an email newsletter that goes out. People contact us. We've got a team of people that we are working with to make sure that when they want to touch base with us, that we're easily accessible. So we've got email newsletters. They know how to reach me directly as well too, so they can stay abreast of what's happening with our project.
Lance, what are you most excited about? We're coming to year end here, and 2024 is just around the corner. What are you most excited about for the new year?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never been more excited about business and the opportunity that exists for us. Our grandfather passed away a handful of years ago, and he wasn't able to be able to see like where we have to thank our grandfather first and foremost for seeing a vision in Guyana. Guyana's the poorest country in South America historically, but now it's poised to be the richest in South America in the next couple of years and one of the richest in the world in the next 5 to 10 years because of all the other oil developments and other industries that are coming out of Guyana right now. And so for me, it's exciting to go into this next year because we're really poised and positioned to go into 2024 really strong and to take things to a higher level than our grandfather even thought possible.
Lance, before I let you go, is there any other messaging that you would like to get across to our viewers?
Yeah, I would say if you've never heard of Guyana, take a look into Guyana and give us an opportunity to be able to share with you about our 30-year history there and for really the awesome opportunity that is Guyana for the next years to come as well. And we'd love to have you ask us some questions and get to know us and that opportunity.
Lance, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.